Hi all, this is Dr. Dave Mastak, and I'm talking to you about my peer proofreading and editing platform, reciprocity.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you think this is cool and you think I should continue to build this out. As well, please do support it by going on and purchasing some credits. Then you can actually use those credits to get peer proofreading. You can also reciprocate before you don't necessarily need to actually purchase any credits when you go on there. You can just go on and reciprocate by editing other people's work. So last night I went to my son's Cub Scout. So my son is 7 years old. He's in the wolf's den. And I was thinking to myself as I was going there, I was like, why is it so interesting? Why do people actually keep going to Cub Scouts? Why has this been going on for decades now? And what the reason is they actually gamified the club. So what is gamification? Well, gamification is the application of sort of rules and procedures to ensure that something feels like a game. So if you think of how Cub Scouts works, for those of you who don't know about Cub Scouts, it's sort of an American thing. There's also Boy Scouts, and I believe it's passed to other countries now. And I'm actually originally from Canada, so in Canada they did have Boy Scouts. I don't know if they're all over the world, but I know that they're indefinitely. It's a big thing here in the U.S. and in Canada as well. So if you think of how it sort of works. You, as a child, you sign up when you're in grade 1, and you start off as a tiger. The tiger, there is an initiation process. You go through and you initiate into the den, and then you work up to a wolf den. Sorry, I was blanking. And that's in grade 2. That's in second grade. Then you go to a bear den, and then you go to the Webelos. And each one of those steps, you're actually moving up in a sequence of ladders. And in order to get each one of these credentials, and you actually get sort of badges and belt loops and all sorts of really fun things, each time that you actually want to get something, you actually have to invest in skill development and get better as you continue to move up the ladder. And there is sort of a pinnacle, which is the Webelo, where you then progress into the Boy Scouts. So what is this? What's the whole process going on? So there is, in gamification, what you're doing is trying to apply sort of games or game methodology and game planning to the world around you. So a lot of times, especially in the software world right now, in the development of software, people are really interested in making things gamified. Why is that? The reason is it creates this social dynamic, and it also encourages sort of incentives for you to keep investing into the software. Just like in the Boy Scouts, my son loves it. I love it. As a parent, I get to socialize with other people that are investing in their kids, which is really important to me, to have this sort of investment in your kids and to be socializing with parents that actually care, to invest in their kids. So you're getting into this social sort of a social scene where you have like-minded people that are all thinking about sort of progression and sort of improvement. Just like on a game, on an online game, if you think of, League of Legends, I guess. And I'm not all that big into gaming, just in case you didn't know this, but I understand about gamification. So just like in all these different kinds of games, you're part of a social environment, whether you're playing against the computer or playing against sort of another group of individuals. as well as you're trying to conquer and achieve some goals. So in the Cub Scouts, you're trying to achieve the next step along the way. You're trying to get to, my son who's in the wolf's den, he's trying to get into the bear's den, right? And you have to do all these different steps. So there's this element of ladders. So there's progression. There's skill investment. There's three different things that I think are incredible important when you do gamification. Um, there is a social dynamic where you can actually talk to and invest in other people. There is also sort of the ladder dynamic, or where you're investing in your skills. And there's also sort of reward and reinforcement, as well as it doesn't happen within Cub Scouts because we're focused on children, but in sort of online games, there's also not only rewards, but there's punishments, right? So you can actually die along the way, quote unquote, die along the way, or get hurt, and maybe your health points get diminished and stuff like that. So why am I actually talking about this? Well, in reciprocity, I actually tried to build some of that in, and as I continue to invest in this project and build it out, I want to actually make this a lot more gamified and a lot more interesting. That's why I have the different characters, or the owl character right now. By the way, if you have a great name for the reciprocity owl, do let me know. You can write it in the comment section. Let me know if you have any sort of ideas and what I should name it. I don't know right now. I also have other ideas for characters as well, as sort of building those in. So I'm Canadian originally. I live in Florida. I actually have different plans for an owl and a moose and different things like that. So anyways, I want to build in these avatars, these different characters. That was the fourth thing that I was trying to remember along the way. You also have to have some sort of system and way to remove yourself from your sort of everyday situation, right? So you have social, you also have sort of the ladders or score or point system. You have reinforcement, both negative and positive reinforcement. And you also have this way to remove yourself from your normal everyday social life, right? So you actually want to invest in this. You're investing in your character, not your particular self. So my son is investing in him as a Cub Scout, right, in the social role as a Cub Scout, rather than, that he's investing in becoming a good student or something like that. So in a game, you're investing in your avatar, whatever you're building out, whatever you're working on. So in this sense, on reciprocity, I actually want to put some different characters on there, so you can invest in those different characters and build those out and become stronger and more powerful, and actually sort of earn your way up through different ladders, and you'll be able to sort of unlock things different along the way. This is why I actually built it such that it's free to edit other people's work immediately, because it's supposed to be really easy to join, right? And it's very simple. And then you just, as you sort of progress, and I haven't built that yet, so I'm going to actually build that in. As you progress, you actually get more sort of aspects of, you unlock different aspects of the game and stuff like that. So that's the really important things to think about, right, when you're doing gamification. It's how do you make it really fun and interesting to do something like that. So if you think about what Cub Scouts is doing, and why is this important? It's doing, it's teaching kids how to actually be very good citizens, right? So the Cub Scout motto is "Do your best," right? So what you're trying to do is develop a child into something that's a good citizen that's going to contribute in the future. And just like on games, you're trying to build out this, whatever your identity and or your avatar and build it into something that's really powerful within the game. And just like on reciprocity, I actually want to build that out so you become, a really amazing editor and have fun at that. And what this does, because you have these different elements, it provides incentives for you to sort of carry on and have fun and enjoy it. And the other thing is that it sort of removes yourself. So if you think of the social psychology of it, it removes yourself from your day-to-day grind. And that's incredibly important. That's the reason why sort of this gamification works across many different dimensions. So it's not just Cub Scouts, it's not just online gaming. Weight Watchers, for example, it does an amazing job of this, of sort of building in this sort of social dynamic where you actually go and meet each other on a weekly basis. You have your weigh-in, and you're tracking each other. There's accountability, and all these sort of dimensions where it's actually fun to be part of this, and you're working towards that end goal, right? This is a shout out to the Dave Ramsey program, sort of financial fitness program that he's got, the Total Money Makeover, I think he calls it. So he's got the 7 baby steps along the way, right? So you start off by saving $1,000, and then you go and pay off all your debts, and then you save for a home, or you create an emergency fund, and you to progress along the way until you're finally, the pinnacle of, financial fitness and whatnot. So that system, all these different systems. Oh, and geez, I blanked now. I had another really good example of this, but maybe I'll come back. But anyways, all these different areas all use a sort of gamification, and that's why they become very, very successful. Right? We didn't necessarily call it gamification years ago, but it was this sort of system of incentives and sort of social dynamics and interaction that allows people to get better and have fun as they're doing it, right? So that's it today. Do check out Reciprocity. Do help me out. Buy some credits. It's really important for me to continue to invest in this. I really need social proof that people think it's cool. And the way that you can do social proof is actually purchase some credits on there, as well as edit other people's work. So check it out. Hopefully you like this video, and have a good day. Bye. Take care.